Let's make it a good Friday for you. Good morning and welcome. It's your numero uno breakfast show.
Wake Up Nigeria.
That's how we do it.
Good morning. Thank you for letting us into your homes on this special holiday. Every single day of the week.
Holiday.
Yes.
So this morning, of course, I was rushing to come this morning to work. For all of you chilling and sitting back at home, it's one of the longest weekends.
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah.
Today, public holiday.
Exactly.
Monday.
Saturday, Sunday,
of course.
Monday.
Monday is also a public holiday.
Of course.
So imagine you stop work on Thursday and you're going to be resuming what? On Tuesday. So
it's
going to be a long weekend for you.
It's going to be a great time to spend time with family.
Yes, yes.
Reconnect with friends.
Family. Family. It's big. It's big. I am going to spend my own time, of course, the Saturday or maybe the Sunday because, I mean, I'm still working on Saturday. So probably the Sunday. That's when I only have a time to spend with family. So, hey, come on. Yeah. You know, Good Friday for a lot of Christians around the world. This is the day that they commemorate the death of the Lord Jesus Christ. So in hindsight, or it's a celebration in some ways because of course Christians believe that he came to take the sins of the world away, and so it's one way to commemorate and celebrate for all of that. So hey, come on, that's what we're here for, to give you a wonderful time this morning to get you kick-started for the holiday.
Indeed, getting it started, getting the weekend started with us is one of the best things you can do. And if you need to move around, get things done, you can always watch us live online. We're on tvcentertainment.tv. You can carry us around with you. If you have our app, it's even better. That's TVC app on Android, or rather iOS and Google Play.
Definitely.
So
if you're watching us on DTT, that will be 16 on GOTV, and then if it's on terrestrial band, you would have to catch us on ultra high frequency. Will be 49. My name is Mike Mesekeno.
And I'm Titilayo Oyinson. Make sure you follow us on social media on with the hashtag WakeUpNigeria We will see all your posts, comments, and contributions. And of course, follow us at TVC Entertainment _ and you'll see everything we have planned.
It's going to be a packed show. Did you have Bandit coffee?
I actually do.
Okay, please. I'm looking for something lighter. Zainab, Alamine, please get me something lighter. I can't take this.
Wow.
This one is too dark. But hey, it's going to be a wonderful day. Let's start off with what we have for you this morning, eh? We have some movies. There's one trailer that's been trending from last night into this morning.
Okay.
But two trailers. Okay. There's Bad Boys. There's Finding Messiah. We'll watch both of them.
Finding Messiah.
Watch both of them, of course, on our trailer watch this morning.
Get a ginger ale and nothing else.
Are those dogs fresh?
Put them in yesterday.
Give me one, put some relish on that motherfucker.
Open the register.
Stay right there.
That's good.
Love to dress up, especially during the holidays. And now we have a fashion guest coming to talk to us about her brand. We have Cuckoo, Banke Cuckoo, coming to show us exactly what her brand and lineup is about. So when I think of the likes of Johnny Drill, Peter, I think of the path that GT, the guitar man, paved for them.
Paved for them, exactly.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about paving of paths, people go like, oh, you didn't do something directly. You don't have to do something directly for someone to pave a path. But the fact that you have gone that path before that person came, in some ways, you have prepared people for what the other ones are coming. So in those ways, you've paved the way for them. So, that discussion of way paving and all of that has been going back and forth and all of that. But, I just want to say that, in one word or the other, those that came before you, I love blazing trails. There's nothing wrong with blazing a trail. But we are at the point where there are only a few new trails to blaze. People have already blazed some trails before us. So if they have blazed those trails for you, they have paved the way, and it's not a problem giving them some accolades as
Honestly, there were just so few artists back then actually coming out to just play a guitar, acoustically singing and performing,
definitely.
Because it just wasn't our thing as at back then. But we've come to love him and so many other guests that we have here on the show today. We're going to be having the weather update right now and so much more on Wake Up Nigeria.
Like say, go use the sound doing it.
Hello and good morning. It's time for a news update right here on Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Titilayo Oyinson. Thank you for joining us. Now we begin with the development on the killing of 17 soldiers in Ukwama, where the king of Ewu Kingdom, Clement Ikolo, who is one of the 8 people declared wanted by the Nigerian army in connection with the killing, has turned himself into the police in Delta State. We have more details in the following package.
We all have a collective responsibility of doing right. That said, a banner for the wanted persons involved in the killing of the 17 soldiers that were buried yesterday is hereby released to the press. And we encourage citizens, particularly those in Delta State, to assist in the investigation by flushing these persons out. What we do in a situation where there is tension is to de-escalate it. And where it has gone out of hand, we contain it to make sure it doesn't spread. So what has happened in Delta must never repeat itself. And it is for that reason that we have put out this banner of 8 persons, including a woman, as wanted persons.
Former crypto tycoon Sam Bankman-Fried has been sentenced to 25 years in a United States federal prison for stealing $88 billion from customers of the now bankrupt FTX cryptocurrency exchange. U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan handed down the sentence at a Manhattan court hearing on Thursday after rejecting Bankman-Fried's claim that FTX customers did not actually lose money and accusing him of lying during his trial testimony. A jury found Bankman-Fried, 32, guilty on November 2nd of 7 fraud and conspiracy counts stemming from FTX's 2022 collapse in what prosecutors have called one of the biggest financial frauds in U.S. history. Bankman-Fried stood with his hands clasped before him as Kaplan read the sentence. Kaplan said the sentence reflected that there is a risk that this man will be in position to do something very bad in future, and it's not a trivial risk at all. And that's all we have time for when it comes to the news for this hour on Wake Up Nigeria this morning. We have quite a bit more coming your way. Stay tuned. Good morning and welcome back. Now, on Fridays, one of the segments I look forward to the most is fashion. Because, well, by now you know we have to pick and choose what we're going to wear for the show, and it just takes us into that world of fashion in so many different ways. We have to understand what different brands represent before we put them on. Like what I'm wearing today, yeah, this represents me. But we're going to be having a conversation with an amazing designer this morning. Her name is Banke Kuku. Now, she has been on the scene for quite a while, and in 2020, things just blew up. Let's hear her journey this morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now first of all, what you're wearing it's exquisite. I love it.
Thank you.
So I feel like this is 2 different types of fabric.
Yes, it
with
is.
Adire used to make patterns on it.
Yes.
Please tell me which types of fabric are here.
So this is silk, which is like my staple fabric.
Okay.
And then this is like a tulle. So I actually design digital prints.
Wow.
And so I apply them onto different textures.
Okay.
So this is actually a digital printed adire. So it's not hand done. Yeah.
That is special. extremely unique, but it also sounds extremely expensive. Is that true?
Well, our costs, our prices are, associated with our costs. So yes, it is,
darling. But the issue is that this will be a statement piece in your wardrobe for a very, very long time.
Yes, it is.
And I would probably be able to wear it over and over again.
Yes, yes.
Now, I have to talk about how fashion for you began.
Yes.
What were your first set of designs? And what did fashion mean to you at that time?
So I kind of, so I'm a trained textiles designer.
Okay.
And I started with designing textiles for brands.
Okay.
I lived in London. I was working in fashion houses there. And
Okay.
then I was also sort of freelancing for other fashion brands
Amazing.
within Nigeria as well. And then I started with my own interior line because I was working with fashion brands. I kind of didn't want to I wanted to kind of do something different that would take me away from what they were doing. So I would design like cushions and curtains and rugs. I sold out of a trade show in Paris twice a year.
Wow.
And my pieces were, we sold everywhere. We sold in Japan, Australia, different places. And then I moved back to Nigeria. And, my customers loved my print, and they just kept saying to me, Banker, you got to do this on like something like fashion, something that we can wear out because I love your print. And so I did like one kaftan for a customer, and she loved it, and some of her friends started liking it. So I was like, okay, I seem to be moving towards fashion, but I want something to sort of complement my interior because that was really where I was. So I started doing loungewear, so pieces you could wear at home, and that would sort of match your interiors. And so I would do like pajamas and robes and
But don't tell me this was like curtain matching the rugs kind of situation.
No, it was to complement.
Okay, complement.
To complement. So it wasn't
like
the same print, but just something that you would still feel like you still feel stylish at home.
Okay.
And in your space. And the aesthetic would still match my interior line, so it could fuse together, so it wasn't so separate, you know.
I love the idea of working on textiles, but we've come to a point, especially in Nigeria, that importing textiles has become extremely challenging, especially with the FX situation going on. So maintaining standards, making sure you're able to give out the same quality over and over again must be a lot of pressure. How have you been able to handle that?
It is a lot of pressure. I mean, I've been doing this for a really long time.
Okay.
So I've worked with suppliers that for like 15 years. So and textiles is my passion. So I love the challenge, and I love understanding the industry more, learning about new techniques and what people are doing abroad, and sort of bringing that to Nigeria. So for me, I love it. So that's what I do.
Okay, so every designer probably maybe once a year has some statement pieces.
Yes.
Key looks, designs, sometimes series, not series.
Collections.
Collections,
Yeah.
so sorry.
That's okay.
Collections that they put out. You've mentioned kaftans. That's the only actual, structured design you've mentioned. What do you think 2024 is going to be about? You've talked loungewear, but what's 2024's collection going to be about?
I mean, we maintain our identity.
Okay.
So we design loungewear. So during COVID, it was stylish pieces you could wear at home.
Okay.
And when people started leaving their homes, we kind of made occasional loungewear.
Okay.
So we made it like very trendy to wear pajamas outside.
Oh, okay.
So we have really tried to own that aesthetic and and really stay true to that. So, I mean, 2024 for me looks like, how am I going to remix my pajamas, and how am I going to really, make things more interesting, but still keeping within the same silhouettes, because that's what I do.
Now, there was a time that trendy pajamas was sort of, can I use the term, in vogue all over the world at some point. There were some very nice silk, satin, light, soft fabrics, soft colors that were going out. But fashion has a way of moving in cycles.
Yeah.
Have you ever been worried about that? Because COVID was a cycle where people needed loungewear, they were at home. Do you have any worries about what's to come since everyone's
that's why
outside?
so we don't just do pajamas, we do like slip dresses, we do robes. So we still build on our collections to sort of match what is going on in the world. With our pajamas, we have embellished pajamas. So we have
Go ahead.
We have lots of different things. And so as the world moves, the collections evolve.
I can see some beautiful colors here, fantastic fabrics. Let's talk colors now. I've met a few designers who stick with some key color palettes.
Yes.
But there are some that are, more risky, like that combination of pink and aqua green there. I'm not sure if I personally, as just a normal person picking something off the shelf, would pick that color. How have you been able to maintain a color palette, and who do you have in mind when you do?
So my color palette is really about what it's associated to what the collection is about.
Okay.
So for example, my latest collection is called Eden, and it's based on like the Garden of Eden, but told in a Nigerian way.
Okay.
So the colors are very much from plants and birds and
nature.
Yes, nature.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So you wouldn't be going neon at any point.
Oh, we go neon.
You would.
We go
neon. I don't know if neon existed in the Garden of Eden.
No, that was
just saying.
Well, to be honest, you have neon highlights.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
all right.
yeah.
We find a way to make it work.
We do. Yeah.
All right then. So now, do you ever foresee people wearing pajamas to the Oscars one day?
Why not?
Really?
Of course.
Okay.
Why not?
What would have to happen to a set of pajamas before I could wear it to such a huge event?
It could be embellished. You can wear it with something else. You can wear it with a robe.
Okay.
You can wear it, depends on the cut of the pajamas as well. Obviously, maybe not something so slouchy, maybe something a little bit more fitted, a little bit more feminine, something a little bit more sexy, maybe some transparent areas. You can make it really special.
I have to say thank you so much for coming to talk to us this morning. I'm really going to be looking out for all the amazing designs that you have. But what I would love for you to do is maybe one of these days, maybe you could come back with some of your models, because we want to really see these fabrics. We want to touch them and feel them. We want to, actually really connect with what you have on the shelf. Well, speaking of on the shelf, ready to wear is a big deal now.
Yes.
Do you take orders based on what customers want, or do you just have some ready-made designs on the rack?
So we do have a store in Ikoyi where we do have pieces.
Okay.
And we also take orders as well.
Okay. You take orders, but I have to ask you, what is the craziest order that you've ever heard from a customer?
I've had quite a few.
You don't have to mention the customer's name.
No, I've had quite a few.
Judging.
But every challenging order is a challenge for us. So it's something that I always learn from. So I like the challenging orders.
But there are some things that some designers would just never touch.
Of course, I always stay true to my aesthetic. That's the main thing. So when we say we take orders, it's still limited to what people can have. So you can choose your print, but you go with our styles. So exactly. So we have like a range of prints, and you can say I want this print on this style. So you can't. There's only so much. So,
for instance, you have 2 different types of fabric on now.
Yes.
If, for instance, I wanted 2 different types of fabric, but 2 different prints.
Yes.
You would agree?
Of course.
Okay.
I'm such a print mixer.
Okay.
I'm wearing all one print at the moment for the impact.
Okay.
But
it is impactful. Trust me.
Thank you. But I'm all about mixing prints. It's about it's about fun. Fashion is fun and joy. So I really believe in playing around just to express yourself.
I'm just going to touch on one thing. I've heard that AI is really, entering the fashion space right now. And the amazing creative brains that we have in our designers who put, designs down on paper by hand. Do you have any anxiety about where AI is taking fashion? Do you have any worries about it affecting your business later on?
No, I definitely use AI within my business already, and it's helpful.
Okay.
Yes, there are some jobs that may be compromised, but then there will also be some jobs that some new jobs that will evolve from it.
Okay.
So it's really about finding the balance and kind of allowing technology to assist us.
Okay, assist and not take over.
No, we still need humans. Fashion, just like how you said you wanted to see my work and
see the fabric.
feel it instead of seeing pictures. So there's still that very tactile nature in fashion. So,
All right then. Now I have to say thank you so much for coming to talk to us.
Thank you for having me.
And what you're doing is amazing.
Thank you.
I think I should probably get one of my kids involved in what you do and see how I can groom her into a fashion designer like you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Now it's Friday and there's still so much more coming your way right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Stay with us. As always with Chef T-Flow, everything will just flow. We have an amazing array of ingredients here with her. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. What are we making today?
Native jollof rice.
Native jollof rice. Okay, so jollof rice, check. Native, check. Those are the ingredients for jollof rice and native soup, essentially, and you're combining them together, right? Let's talk ingredients now. The first thing you touched was the...
Locust beans.
Locust beans. Which type of iru is that?
Wuru.
Wuru.
Yes.
Okay, so we can't use the other one for this.
That one is soft.
It's
that
soft.
One is for ewedu.
Okay,
so this one is iru wuru.
Okay, so this is the same time we can use for like efo?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so we also have bomo. Yeah.
Onions, crayfish, scent leaf.
Okay.
And it's native. This is ugu.
Ugu.
Palm oil, my rice, beef, and a dry fish. And this is mixed pepper.
So when you say mixed pepper, what types of pepper do you use?
Tomatoes, tatashe, rodo, bawa.
Okay.
Onions.
So, and you blended it, or did you?
I blended it.
You blended it.
Yeah,
but it doesn't look smooth at all. That's intentional.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Now there's something in here. I know there's a seasoning cubes here, and this is salt. All right, fantastic. Now if you have any of these ingredients at home, it's probably waiting for you to bring them out so you can try them this Good Friday for your family. Am I right?
Yes.
What is the first thing we need to do?
I'll be frying mine.
You're going to... Okay, what's the first thing we need to do? This is a pot with water in it. Okay, fantastic. This rice is just normal long grain?
No, short.
Short grain. Oh, intentional?
Yes, I'm using Nigerian.
Okay, Nigerian rice. I guess there is something that makes sense when you say you're making native rice and you use Nigerian rice. I don't know if native rice would taste the same with basmati rice. What do you think?
It depends on the ingredients you are using.
Okay.
Especially you are using your locust beans.
Okay.
And the vegetable you are using.
All right, so what do we do now?
So I'm mixing my oil first.
Okay, so the oil's going to go in there. This is a lot of onion, I have to say. It's a lot. Does it have to be this much, or could I reduce it, maybe?
It depends on your choice.
Okay. How many onions are in there?
This is 4.
4 onions. Goodness me. Okay. Now, the palm oil has gone in. It's about 2 cups of palm oil. About 2 cups.
1 cup.
1? Okay. We have palm oil in there. Are we bleaching it all the way down, or just 1 minute?
Just 1 minute.
Okay, so once that is done, I have to note that this dry fish, you've deboned it.
Yes.
You're not putting it in whole. But is that because everything here is going
Everything is going inside, so I'm mixing everything together.
There's no other cookware here?
I don't want anything like, go slow when you are eating the native rice, you'll be feeling some bone. Just eat and swallow.
Fantastic. That's what we like to hear. Something simple, we eat and swallow. No issues with bones, no issues with obstacles. All right. So if I didn't have beef to add to this,
you can use any protein you want.
Okay.
Any kind of protein you want to use. You can use your chicken, you can use your turkey.
Oh, wow.
You can use your goat's meat, depending on your choice.
So this would you advise that they boil the meat down or fry it? Which one?
Me, I'm boiling my meat.
Okay.
Some people might like it fried, but this is boiled meat.
All right. But either one can work for this native rice.
Depending on your choice.
Okay, so we're going to go over those ingredients one more time. For native rice, you have your locust beans, you have more here, you have onions, crayfish. We have short grain rice. This is Nigerian rice on display here. You've already washed it,
yes?
Now this is dry fish. We have our beef. We have some salt, scent leaves, and ugu. Now this scent leaf specifically, does it have another name?
We have 2 types of scent leaf.
Okay.
You said no one is a Greek. Which one is a native? This is native scent leaf.
Okay, I like this. This smells really good.
This is native.
It's not a garnish. It's actually part of the dish.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so I'm waiting on that oil to warm up so that I can hear that sound, that sizzle of the onions. I really want that to happen too, because it will tell me that the rice is almost ready. But the hot water, why are we boiling water ahead of time?
To make it faster.
Okay, so it will help to cook the rice faster if the water is already boiled. Makes complete sense. All right, then. Are you looking forward to this native rice like I am? I am looking forward to it so much. Chef T-Flow is going to be here with us all the way to the end of the show, making sure that this meal comes together. And we know you'll be trying as well at home. Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. Tag us as WakeUpNigeria TVCE and let us see what you're up to in your kitchen. We have to take a quick break. We'll be back with more on Wake Up Nigeria. It is Friday. It's Good Friday.
Good Friday.
Really? You're touching my hair.
Yeah, because it's not. I mean, this segment is a hair segment.
It is.
It's a hair segment.
And we appreciate how. So my kids use it a lot.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, especially during the holidays. I'm actually thinking about when to do their hair this holiday. Actually, oh my goodness.
How long is this? Is this midterm break?
It's not a midterm break. It's end of term.
Oh,
end of term.
All right. So
yeah, end of term break.
End of term.
Yeah, end of term break. Yeah. So I think this is end of second term. Yeah,
okay.
I'm a good parent. Second term. Yeah. So we got their exam results.
Okay, second
on Wednesday, and I refused to open it. It's inside the envelope till now.
What's the result?
I don't want to open it.
What's the the system now, the ranking system for? Because I know that some schools say that they don't give positions. So as
no, they don't give. They give percentages.
Okay, so there are no positions. They know first in class, second in class.
There is still first in class. There's still that one, but it's probably over the year, not for each term.
Okay, not for
the
each
year
term.
overall. Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
For in our
own days, a lot of pressure.
In our own days, it was first, second, third, fourth. If you carry last, they will write
wow.
30th out of 30. Wow. But then, come on, it's going to be a wonderful show this morning. My name is Mike Messican.
And I'm Titilayo Oyinson. You can, of course, watch us live online. That's tvcentertainment.tv. That's our website. Or, indeed, watch us stream live on YouTube.
All right. We'll kick off with something quite interesting. One of the greatest minds in Nollywood.
Yeah.
He's written some of the biggest series and movies that you have seen come out. It's not something easy to write. Xavier Igoroje will be with us this morning. We're going to be having a chat with him or looking at his career so far.
We were talking earlier about exams and stuff. I saw a video online. It was had over 2 million views. And it was of a school in, I think, was it the Philippines or Thailand or somewhere, where they made the kids design masks, anti-cheating masks for exams. So they were very creative about it, and they would put some, things to cover the sides of their face so that even if they decide to turn left or right, they won't be able to see anything on their colleagues' papers. It was really interesting.
Let me tell you something about how school sometimes gets it wrong. School sets you up for life. You need school to improve your critical thinking.
Yeah.
You understand? Your problem-solving skills. But you see one thing about school and life. Life will give you the exam first.
Yeah.
And then you get to learn the lesson
later
after the exam. And one other thing also about life, you see, to succeed in life, you have to learn to collaborate.
Sure.
And that is one thing that is, when you get to exams,
they don't want you to collaborate in exam. So it's like mixed messages.
You see,
in life you need to collaborate with other people,
and that's why
but in exam you can't collaborate to pass.
You understand? So that's why a lot of people will tell you that. Of course, one of the secrets to success is that streetwise and bookwise. When you can put two of them together, because at times they are at odds, and I mean alternate odds. 180 degrees odds and all of that.
So one of the comments I saw in the comment section was, these kids were so creative and worked so hard on designing these anti-cheating masks. If they had spent as much time studying for the exam,
they wouldn't need to.
They wouldn't need anti-cheating masks in the first place.
But what comes to mind? I don't know. How many of you guys, do they still do those open book exams? You know those exams?
Open book exam?
Yes. Did you ever have exams like that?
I never had that.
You never had that such an exam?
Open book exam?
Oh, man.
How?
They are the worst.
Wow.
Do anything you want to do. They are the worst. Study mechanical engineering reports, they are the worst. Like, you do anything you want to do. You want to collaborate. Mama, those kind of exams,
because when they're scoring you, it's even more critical.
Because, and for me, I love this kind of exams because you see, like I said, it's more attuned to what will happen in life.
Yeah,
you understand? When you get to see problems, you have to learn to collaborate to find solutions. So I'd rather have people in groups and all of that give you the kind of problems that would enhance critical thinking, not just read back. I mean, not just replicate what I taught you in class. The whole
exactly. Don't just regurgitate everything that the teacher has given you.
That's what I taught you in class. So just open book exams, they'll give you all you open your carry thermodynamics textbook, you carry all of them, put all of them in front. You will not see the exact because what you do is that you draw inferences from them to try and think critically to answer the questions that came. So
one of the worst things was to ever have a carryover in an elective course where maybe you've been carrying this course over, so this is me talking from experience now.
Yeah.
Carry over this course for like 3 years, you're like, I don't worry, I go still do it.
When it's not your department.
It's not your department.
When the elective, so that our department you carry
elective. And there were some people that I would see in this same exam hall because everybody just picked it because they thought it was the easiest
course,
And then you'd be like, this guy is still in this school. Wait, this baby's here. And then you would actually see them, roughnecking. Let's put it that. If you know what roughnecking is, and you know looking left and looking right to get that exam done. Because after carrying it over for so many years, you didn't have interest in this course. You just wanted it to pass.
To pass and go back.
And just being in that room, it just brought back so many memories. But seriously, if you could spend so much time building a mask, just spend the time reading the book. Then why build the mask in the first place? Oh, man. At this point, let's take the weather updates and we'll be back with more.
All right, great one there from Replay. Now, normally, I would not want to try to draw whatever connection I have with whatever guest we have, but this one is one guest that if you've been in the industry, you might not see him so much in the front, but you see, these are the people that make what you see, that bring the magic to you, the words that you hear, that put everything together. A writer's strike in US shut down the industry. There was nothing happening. So these are the kind of people that if they are not available, there is no industry. Xavier Igoroje in the house. It is great to have you, sir. You are welcome.
Same here.
You've done so much. I might start reeling out your accolades. I don't know where we'll start. But maybe for some people that don't know, Shantytown, Covenant. Let's start going back. There's just so many. Let's go back a bit before we talk about recent ones.
Okay. So I started writing. The first telenovela I was on was Hush for African Magic. Hush replaced. Was the second telenovela they did, the second 260 episode telenovela they did. Then after Hush, I went on to Jimeji. Then from Jimeji, I went on to Ajoche. From Ajoche, I did Unbroken, there was Dilemma, there was Enache. So I've done a couple. Let me not like. You have.
Let's being a head writer. Let's talk about the process of writing. It's not something that is might be so much fun putting it all together. What is the process behind? How do how does it all come together? Does the director talk to you, give you an overbearing storyline, you start putting it into bits and pieces, the screenboard and all of that? What's the process like for you?
So process-wise, there's a statement I like to say that it's 1,001 ways to skin a cat. So there is no sure way that you can say, oh, this is how it must be. But I believe very heavily in collaboration. So depending on the project and depending on what the client wants, we can either work highly collaboratively or they can give me like the creative freedom to do what I want. But of course, everything comes with, it all depends on how we negotiate and also the kind of conversations we are having. So for TV, for instance, TV is highly collaborative because not often do you see one person writing. It's ridiculous to imagine one person writing 260 episodes of primetime TV.
Primetime TV, yeah.
So you have to collaborate with a lot of very good people. If one person tries, then you probably would pass out or die around like the 20 episode mark.
You would. It's impossible.
So you bring like a team together. But before you even bring the team, you have a conversation with the showrunner or whoever is the creative director so that we all agree on what the story is like. Before we even get there, you have conversations. If you're a smart head writer, you have conversations with the network executive. It can be the head of production, it can be your commissioning editor. That's just so we are all on the same page on the kind of story we are trying to tell. So I, as a head writer, I may come up with the original idea, but then there is also what the network would require that idea to become. Because again, at the end of the day, they need to be able to market that idea. Right, so there are certain things that they'll be like, okay, this storyline, maybe we don't want to see it, maybe we can adjust it like this. So we have all those conversations and we harmonize. So what I then do from there is have like a meeting with my writers where we break the story. I kind of have a process where before we even show up at the writers' room, we have like 1 month of story development, just so that. So I do that so all my writers are very comfortable when it comes to pitching, and then they can confidently say what their story is like. There are other people who have other processes. Usually, traditionally, we all show up at the workshop and we talk about stories. So for instance, we say, oh, Tom and Jerry, what's going to happen? Okay, you tell us how Tom gets married to Jerry's cousin and blah, 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 blah. This person tells us something else. Then we show up at the workshop and we pitch these stories before network executives.
And everybody...
For the first time. And then when you pitch it before network executives, they may be like, oh, I don't quite like this story direction, but I like this thing. Can we merge it like that, right? So we have all those conversations in the room. But what I do before this process is, if I have 1 month of this thing happening already with me and just my writers, then they feel a lot stronger or more confident about their stories. Then I take these stories, right? I take it to my showrunner, even before we show up at workshop, so that the showrunner can tell us, oh, I don't like this thing, let's adjust those things. So when we come before network, our story is a lot more streamlined, and then we don't do all those back and forth.
Does the showrunner know the end from the beginning and then you connect the dots? Or do they just give you a start and then you draw the dots up until the end?
So it depends. So for instance, for telenovelas, it's hard to know what the end is.
Okay.
Right? It's hard to know. You can get an impression, a mental impression of what the end would be like. So for instance, taking for instance the show Covenant, we knew that for Covenant, it was a story, at the heart of it was a story of JK and Talia.
Okay.
Right? And we know how JK, he leaves his father that is a political godfather, a very big person there, and he goes to live with the masses to get to know them. We knew his journey was going to be from the slums back into the political class, and then he would have to give some bit of control there and he would try to do the righteous thing. And at the end of the day, he will realize that in order to do the greater good, I may need to sully my hands a little bit.
Yeah.
So you get that at the end of the day, he comes to that realization, and it's only from there he can save these people. So you can see that I get an idea of what the end will be like. But I don't know the scenes like scene by scene or breakdown. I can't do all those things about it. Exactly. So we now start, but it's because it's a 260. It's a lot longer.
It's a lot
but
longer.
If it's say a 6 episodes, 1 hour, then before I start going into production, I need to know everything. In fact, all the scripts have to be written. It's a different ballgame entirely. So for Shantytown, for instance, of course, we know the end. We've written everything first before you go into production. For Covenant, you can't have done that because it's 260 episodes.
Definitely.
We probably would have written like 40 or thereabouts before we go into.
How do you deal with writer's block?
Okay, so I like to believe that I don't have writer's block because I practice what I call competent delegation.
Okay.
And for competent delegation, it means that I need to surround myself with a lot of people who I can delegate things to. And in order to do that, that was why we were talking earlier where I said I had to bring some people in because I want to train these people to be competent enough for me to tell them, handle this and that for me. But then the kind of things I deal with is mental fatigue. So I get tired because I'm handling like a lot. So when those kind of things come, I would like to rest, maybe sleep, maybe game or do something like that. But then why I'm doing those things, that's why I'm not writing. What I'm doing in that period is I've delegated certain tasks to certain people that I've surrounded myself with.
And when you have a team like that, it can keep going.
It just keeps going.
24/7 and all of that.
Exactly.
Without
And then,
having...
Yes, and then if one of us is incapacitated or has writer's block or is ill or something or has a private emergency to deal with, the other one is almost like one for all for one. The rest of us, we can pick up the pace while that person is resting. Wonderful. That was why I did that whole thing I told you about I did for Covenant, where I had to bring like a small team, but all of us were dedicated into doing a certain story. And shout out to Mr. Femi Odugbemi, because he was very, very uber supportive in this entire process. Femi Odugbemi, Larry Shupona, like this, that was the creative director, and then people from Network. It was a very amazing process.
Wonderful. Yeah. And so let's talk about your upcoming projects. You have Dust, which will be premiering on Monday. Tell us a bit about Dust and what to expect from Dust.
So Dust is, how do I put it? Dust is one of the shows I feel like I relaxed with writing Dust because the original story idea was from one of my long-term partners and collaborators, Donald Tombia. He had this story that was set, I think, in like a rural area and all those kind of things. And then when the pitch came to me, the network wanted to revamp it in its entirety. And I had these conversations with the showrunner on what I thought I wanted to do with that project, and they were like, okay, I like this idea, but can you change it like I explained and all that? And what we wanted to do was, I feel like this may be giving spoilers, but we wanted to take one of the classic Shakespearean story and then reverse it.
Oh.
Now I can't say what the classic Shakespearean story is, because if I say that, I'll be giving a lot out there.
Right.
But think of it like, of course, the example I'm giving is not this example. But if it were Macbeth, and you know how a prophecy leads Macbeth to become the king, but at the end of the day he dies.
Yeah.
What if we reverse it from there, and it's not a prophecy that leads him to his death? It is something else that leads him to his salvation. Like that, you can see how I just take this one and I'm doing the opposite. So it's something like that, but it's not Macbeth. So but there's a prophecy involved, but it's not Macbeth. Yeah.
Did you always want to be a writer?
For the longest of times, I knew I wanted to create. I just didn't know what I wanted to do.
Exactly. Ah, nice.
As a child of maybe about 2 years or 3 years, one of the things I used to do was I would watch Voltron on TV, and then I would cut out papers and use it to just act and do all those kind of things. And then when the age of the internet came, and I went to make like my first email address, I told myself that I was making this email so that I could send pitches to Universal Studios and they would make movies. Like I didn't know it was screenwriting that those things were called, but then I had to go through an entire process. And now I'm also evolving as a human being. I realized that I don't just want to be a writer, I want to be a showrunner for TV, which is a writer, producer, and that is the executive, exactly just in charge of creating these worlds and bringing it to life. Yeah.
You know, when I think of showrunners, of course, one of the most famous showrunners had to be D.B. Wise, just talking about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
That's when showrunners came, you know, and a lot of, because of the flack that they got, why is the story going this way? Have you ever gotten that kind of feedback where people are so angry with you? Maybe you kill off a favorite character. Maybe you did something that
the thing is,
everybody just, you know, and then they come, Xavier, behold you. You ever encountered that?
A lot. So one of the things is, I'm not desensitized to feedback, but then I do not allow feedback affect my my understanding of myself. So let me put this in perspective. For the shows we do on Africa Magic, which airs, most of my shows, they air from Monday to Friday, every week from 8 o'clock to 8:30 or 8:30 to 9 o'clock. Now, every night, there's a community of fans that tweet about the show, which means that each episode gets censored by 1,000 critics. So when the praise is high, I do not let it get into my heart. And then when the criticism is, of course, very loud, I do not let it get into my I do not let it get into my head. So I take everything in good measure and I ask myself, okay, this is the thing they like about this. Say, okay, can we keep it consistent? This is the thing they hate. Did I do this deliberately to get this reaction?
So sometimes does feedback affects the process from what you actually wanted to do at the end? Feedback
for long form storytelling, like a 260 episode, feedback does.
Oh, okay.
But for like something that is short form, 13 episodes, 20, we've already finished writing. So whatever feedback you are giving me, it won't particularly affect what I'm doing. Exactly. But then for telenovelas, we know that, okay, traditionally, the way telenovelas used to work back in the days was that as you are writing, it's airing. So when it airs and you see certain things, you can change your writing and push out those scripts. But for us, we've written like, let's say 50 episodes in advance. So when the show is airing, we've already written 50 episodes in. So sometimes the feedback, we can't even use it. But then if we're in the current timeline where we know that, oh, they are vibing like this about these characters, and we know that we are going to turn these characters and make them enemy or probably kill them off, we are like, yes, they are going to cry on national TV. But then we are doing those things deliberately.
Wow.
The thing is, the failure is, when I want you to feel fear, and instead you are happy, or I want you to feel happiness, and then you are pissed, then you realize that as a writer, I have probably not landed the emotional arcs of this story.
Xavier, if we continue, we'll spend 3 hours here. We'll just be talking. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And here's wishing you the best. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. I went to call you personal again because you were on Covenant.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mike.
All right, it's been a pleasure having a wonderful discussion with Xavier. We'll just take a time and I'll stay with us. We'll be back in a bit.
Me, oh my be mine. I don't know why you giving me music, you know it's my calling. With this melody, Marale, my calling. By Bensi for my man, I believe, Molefo. How congratulations. How congratulations, yo. Tutti congratulations. Blessings follow the boy. New Lane, everywhere we go now. Blessings follow the boy. Plenty mula, they go Akajijo. Blessings follow the boy. Oh, Baggy, you know how that thing go. Blessings follow the boy. Blessings follow the boy. Liwale, everywhere we go now. Blessings follow the boy. Plenty mula, Nico Chito. Blessings follow the boy. Oh, Baggy, you know how the thing goes, TT.
Amazing, amazing.
Thank you very
GT, the guitar man, is right here on Wake Up Nigeria.
I'm in the building.
Great to have you.
Thank you.
Talking about the singer, songwriter, performer, wow, lyricist.
Wow.
Yes, all joint, everything packaged. And they would not believe his age if we told them. Everyone here has said you are an OG.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Google his age. I don't want to out him here because
I'll be 40 in September this year.
You'll be 40 in September? I don't understand. Wait.
I don't get it.
What are you drinking? Well, can I have some?
Probably drinking the same thing you're drinking, but you look amazing too, Titi.
Thank you. Now you brought a guitar along with you. You are the guitar man. Every time we see you with a guitar. It doesn't feel complete to see you without one. But this is like a very special piece you brought with you.
Yeah.
What's this guitar called?
It's a Fender Acoustatonic Telecaster.
Okay, so everything you just said, I'm going to act like I know what exactly that is. It's not an acoustic guitar, is it?
It serves both purposes.
Okay, so it can be acoustic, it can also be electric.
Electric, you know, it can switch into different modes.
Let's talk about your genre of music and how the journey started. I think I first connected with you in probably 2005-ish.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then your genre of music, did you have a name for it at that time?
It was called Afro Rock Soul because it was a fusion of rock, soul, and African rhythms.
Okay. Rock, soul, and African rhythms. At a time where it wasn't commonplace to have a performer come out and perform that way. Now, I know that you have a different mindset about it right now because of you know the years you have behind you. A lot of years, by the way. But talk to us about what your mindset was like, you know, when you decided to go into that genre of music when everybody else was doing something else.
I mean, I think I was just privileged to have been inspired by great musicians, both from the African legends like Sonny Ade, Fela, Shino Peters, and also having the privilege to have listened to people like Boyz II Men, Whitney Houston, and you know all these amazing musicians, Babyface, Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
you know, so like it was only natural for me to infuse all that. You know, because I think I'm a product of my environment.
Okay.
You know, and you know, betting such a song. I mean, back then a lot of people were doing Afrobeat music, and I found the younger me only interested in bringing out my guitar and singing because I felt I can do it live. Why mime? You know, and back then a few of my colleagues back then, etc. And people like Asha, you know, they held the music down. You know, and we felt we would be the ones that would be celebrated. You know, fast forwarding to 2004, you know, but you see, life has a way of, playing out,
Yeah, sure. When you say life, we have to touch on this because I know that you took a break for a while.
Yeah.
Was a lot of people just probably assume that it was because maybe that genre of music wasn't doing so well in the industry at that point in time? Well, am I right about that? Am I wrong about that?
I mean, what eventually happened must have been the answer to that because, I mean, the style of music that went international, it's Afrobeat, obviously.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's not to say that people who do my kind of music are not making a kill.
Of course.
You know, there's a lot of them. Adekunle Gold, See Me, there's Johnny Drill, there's Chike. You know, these guys are making amazing music, you know, and big ups to them. I'm back, and I hope we can do stuff together.
Now, GT, the guitar man, is back on the scene. You have an EP out now called Elodie?
Yeah, Elodie.
All right, so explain what Elodie is about.
Okay, so Elodie for me, I call it the cycle of life, and cycle, P-S-Y-C-O-O-L.
Oh,
is like cycle of life. You know, so it means when you're up there, you know, remember it wouldn't last forever. When you're down there, remember it's not going to last forever. Life is in cycles, you know, and you know, embrace whatever position you're in, you know, because it's not the end, you know. And LOD is like my comeback statement. It's a 5-track EP, and it has beautiful songs like Congratulations. The song I played earlier is the first track. Songs like With You. Songs like an Amapiano joint.
Let's touch on that. Because, yes, artists from your generation tended to say they were trying to stick to you know, the true music, the music they started with, the original message that they wanted to portray. But once you touch on Amapiano and touch on some of the newer, more popular music, what does that mean exactly for you?
I mean, for me, it means freedom. It means not boxing myself into a cage. It means being youthful. It means revolving. It means now wanting to associate with more people, you know. That's pretty much it. And it's an experimental EP, you know, because it touched on a lot of other genre of music. Like there's ballads, there's Amapiano, like I said, there's the Afro pop. You know, it's worth listening to.
There has become a trend in, you know, more popular music now, in the Afrobeats music, for an EP or an album to sort of essentially almost sound the same throughout the album. Once you say you're mixing genres and you're experimenting here, it kind of means like, okay, once someone starts with your EP, you know, if they're not a fan of a particular genre, they might not continue. Have you ever thought about that aspect?
Oh, well, I mean, for a brand like GT, the guitar man, I think I've been on the scene for way too long, and I feel bringing out another GT kind of song would be, you know, it wouldn't spell an artist that is ready to evolve, you know. So I mean, trying all the genre of music, it means maturity to me, and it means that I do not have any form of rule, you know. I don't follow any rule.
All right. So we're not being boxed in. We're exploring new things.
Absolutely.
And with LOD, GT, the guitar man, is back on the scene.
Absolutely.
We're definitely going to be looking out for you on social media and, of course, your performances and wherever you pop up. Let us know where you're going to be so we can talk about it on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Now, we've honestly been looking forward to what the chef has put together in the kitchen as well. Hopefully you join us.
Hopefully. I will.
All right, then. At this point, we're going to head over to the kitchen.
Capture the soul of noodles in a populaire and in check.
Back in the kitchen with Chef T Flo and her
this particular
native rice.
I'm eyeing it.
Yeah, eyeing that fish.
This one.
Okay. Security. Where are you? Okay. So Mike, of course, has been keeping Chef T Flo company in the kitchen while I was talking with you. Wow. Please have a taste of what she's put together and let us know what you think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This looks yummy.
Okay. See her face. See her face. What do you think? What do you think?
It's flowing.
Ah, I like it. I like it. I like it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chef Tiflo.
Thank you, GT,
so
for coming in on the show today. Big shout out to every single one of our guests for making this Friday a wonderful Friday. Have a good Friday.
Yes,
it's a good Friday. And I'll see you tomorrow, but we will see you wake up on Monday.
All right. Bye.